Floor is yours.
Everybody, welcome to the Burn It Down NASCAR podcast. Post Darlington, um, bonfire, and pre Kansas. So, once again, what'd you think?
I actually thought it was one of the better races of the year.
Okay, expound.
Uh, I think it was more drama filled. I'm just because of the playoffs. I think it was more racy, but also there's drama with Chase Elliott getting his car. He had a bad weekend, and then motor problems with Kyle Busch and Truex. Apparently, Kyle Busch missed a shift. Apparently, that was a thought. Then, not to mention Kevin Harvick catching fire.
I had heard that Kyle Busch lost a belt.
No, that was Truex.
Truex?
That was Truex. That lost the belt, and they just wrote it out until it was over. And then on a caution, caution. Kyle Busch lost his motor, and I just randomly. So people are speculating he shifted and blew the motor. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay. But other than all, I think it was a better than most we've had throughout the year. Like I said, I give that to the playoffs. The first race, it's a night race, so I give it to that. But I think it was a better race than we've had in the past.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to say it was a bad race. I don't think it was as drama filled as Daytona. I mean, we had so much going on at Daytona.
Yeah.
As you stated, we had our points leader by a race come back to the pack.
Yeah, that's the big one too. He literally was ahead by 30 some odd points, and now he is literally 24 above the cut line. No.
He's in the bottom 4.
12 before the cut line. He's not in the bottom 4. He's in the top 12, but he's literally, he has a chance to go home if he messes up like that again.
You're right. He's in 9th. Never mind. I don't know why I looked at it wrong. But yeah, he's not guaranteed right now.
Everybody thought he was good to go at least for one round with the points he had, and finished dead last. No playoff points to that. You got problems.
So let's, because we got some other things to talk about. We all know Eric Jones. Congratulations. That was awesome. Richard Petty, he got his hat. Which, did you see a picture of that hat?
No.
Mm-mm. Oh my God. It was Richard Petty. That hat was awesome. It was all over social media, but yeah, that was nice. And it was like, what, 55 years to the day since the last time?
Mm-hmm.
The 43 had won at Darlington, but congratulations. That was fantastic. Hamlin was second, Reddick was third, Logano was fourth, Bell was fifth, McDowell was sixth, Keselowski making a little bit of noise here in seventh, Byron, Wallace, Bowman round out your top 10. Kyle Larson overcame early issues to finish 12th. I don't know still what was going on there, but they had the hood up early.
Well, he thought he had the same exact issue as last week when his motor failed. He literally said, "Oh no, not again." So he pulled it in, and they went under the hood. Apparently had the same air codes. Went under the hood, looked at it, was down 3 laps, and then he went out racing, and he was still contending and finished. And he brought it back to be top, 12th, and
he was 12th.
And that's not including a late mid-race spin he had too on top of that. So he had to overcome a lot to be 12th. And my dumbass, I'm like, you know what? It's Kyle Larson. Let's switch him back out for Denny in my fucking fantasy. And well, that was a bad move.
Well, I made a good move. I took Harvick out and put in Kyle Busch until it wasn't a good move.
No.
But All right, Blaney is in 13th. Notables, Ty Gibbs finished 15th in Bubba's car. Suarez was 18th. Of course, then we go down to Kyle Busch 30th, Truex 31st, Harvick 33rd.
It was a
and
bad
Elliott.
night for people in the chase playoffs.
Yeah,
Bad night.
it really was. Like I said, I don't think it was a bad race. It to me, it wasn't necessarily the. I just couldn't get over Daytona. I was so jacked with that race. But anyway, let's do the new. Oh, excuse me. I just finished eating, so excuse me for that. Standings for the chase. You got
2 points leader.
Logano. Well, yeah.
New leader, Logano.
Yep. Then you got Byron, Hamlin, Bell, Reddick, Blaney. By 3 points, he got in, and he's now in 6th place.
It's playoff points.
Yep. Larson, Chastain, Elliott, Bowman, Kyle Busch, Suarez, Cindric, Dylan Briscoe, and Harvick is in dead last. Man, and I wish I could have my picks back from last week. But anyway.
Hey, I got 3 out of the 4 so far. All I gotta do is get Bowman get down, and then my 4 are correct. Playoff picks.
Dylan Briscoe, Suarez.
Yeah, all you gotta get Suarez, and that's it, right?
Pretty much.
I have Dylan Briscoe, Cindric, and Bowman are my 4 to go out.
I got Dylan Briscoe, Suarez, and Bowman. So I need Bowman to get down. I need
Harvick.
Suarez. I need Harvick to win a race.
Well, just perform and not catch on fire.
So, all right. Let's go into the happenings that were Darlington. And I'll let you lead this off because I'm sure we got a lot of the same stuff. So,
only thing I really have is the Harvick catching fire and talking shit to NASCAR.
Oh yeah. Have you
Before-
seen NASCAR's response?
Hold on. Before we go, I brought up the videos and I want to play them on podcast, and then we'll go into it, and then NASCAR is addressing.
Cool. This is new.
This is his interview to NBC.
It's just the crappy parts on the race car like we've seen so many times. We haven't fixed anything. It's kind of like the safety stuff. We just let it keep going, and the car started burning. And as it burned, the flames started coming through the dash. And I ran a couple laps, and then, as the flame got bigger, and then it started burning stuff up. And I think right there you see all the brake fluid that was probably coming out of the brakes. It burned the brake line, but the fire was coming through the dash. So scary. What a disaster, man. No reason. We didn't touch the wall, we didn't touch the car, and here we are in the pits with a burned up car and can't finish the race during the playoffs because of crappy ass parts.
And this is his interview to non-NASCAR affiliated people.
Kevin, what happened out there?
Just talk about what happened there.
The rocker panel just caught on fire. It's, we just keep letting cars burn up, letting people crash into stuff, get hurt. Like, we don't fix anything. Now we just riding around out there and the car catches on fire, so just shitty parts.
Your attitude at this point, obviously, I mean, you've been frustrated anyway, but now it affects your race.
Yeah, well, they don't care. It's cheaper to not fix it.
How do we change it?
Find somebody to run the show that can run it.
He had some scathing, I know you can't hear it, but he had some scathing things to say to NASCAR. Shitty parts, horrible leadership, have somebody that knows what to do to run the place. They don't care, it's cheaper to not fix it. So yes, NASCAR, I don't know if they addressed him publicly or privately, but yes, they came out. They're adding a new mesh.
No, a stainless steel plate.
Yeah, something to it. Yeah, so rubber doesn't go through. And Rodney Childers was another one that went off on Twitter about the whole situation, because Harvick is right. We didn't hit a car. We didn't hit the wall. We just caught fire because of this car's design, and we're out. And I'm sure NASCAR had to say something, but now Kevin's not wrong in any way what he said. It is their horrible design, and when rubber builds up on a header, it's going to catch fire.
Yeah, and then that foam they got is just it's a progression thing. I heard or listened to an interview on the morning drive on Sirius XM NASCAR with Scott Miller. The boy was very measured, and he didn't really say anything like I'm offended or I'm mad, but it was clear in his tone. I think Kevin Harvick will be addressed behind the scenes. You don't say anything negative about NASCAR, and you certainly don't say they don't care, and you certainly don't say they're not, without getting a talking to.
Yeah.
It will not be made public. It will probably one of these double secret fines that we'll find out about down the road, but I can almost promise you that Kevin's angst is gonna hit him in the wallet.
And the thing is, I don't think Kevin cares, because he'd rather have race integrity, people safe, and the cars safe for the drivers. He'll take a hit to the wallet, and I'm sure Tony will. Oh, here you go. You know, it's for the better well-being of the sport, drivers' health, and cars not just burning up. Like he said, we didn't crash. It just caught fire because of rubber buildup on the headers.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've seen several posts. They're supposedly putting some kind of a stainless steel plate in there. I also saw, and this was during the race, where they're actually putting some kind of bracket to hold the header against the frame rail, so when they do brush or hit the wall, because they thought that the problem early on was it was knocking the exhaust, the header, loose back into the foam. So again, I won't take NASCAR's side on this, because I think this car sucks.
This car should have been way more R&D than what it is. It was pushed out way too soon.
No, I go back to my grassroots. Win on Sunday, buy on Monday. Ain't nobody buying this POS on Monday. It needs. I want the 5 lug nuts. I want it to. Again, we're gonna do a little nostalgia here. You can remember going to the campgrounds at MIS, and people bring in prototype cars that looked exactly like the cars that were on the track, are very, very similar, and they were stock production cars.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore, and that's why I question all the time, what does the S in NASCAR really stand for? If it's not stock.
No, not in any way, shape, or form.
But I will give NASCAR as much credit as I can in that they've put that brace over the exhaust exit to try and help it from not being pushed back into the door. And now they're putting this stainless steel plate. My question is it going to stop the fire or just push the fire to somewhere else?
I'd have to look at it some more. I know they came out and said the rule change, blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, it's just to stop rubber buildup to get to the headers. Rubber buildup's probably going to still happen because of the opening, but it's just a stopping
build up long enough. At some point,
Yeah.
It's got to get to the headers, because the headers have got to go through this plate.
I think it's before the headers. Plates before the headers. That's what I would assume, but I'm pretty sure.
The other thing that was pretty odd that I noticed about this, when this happened with Harvick, there was a dumbass Jeff Burton said, "Yeah, this is like all Fords." And I just took it as stock. Well, it's not, because Alex Bowman back at Darlington in a Chevrolet also had the same issue. So it's been 3 Fords. So it's been mostly Fords and 1 Chevy this has happened to, where, and most of the issues early on were where the header or the exhaust exit had gotten knocked back into the door.
Hmm.
This was a different scenario. Like you said, it was supposedly rubber buildup, and it wasn't burning in the door like Busher and God, I can't even think of the other two. So was Cindric one of them?
I couldn't.
But Bowman also back in the first Darlington in the spring had the same issue. So they thought they had fixed it, but like I said, I listened to Scott Miller. He did a really good interview, and I mean, we've always said NASCAR never does anything fast. They never do anything knee jerk or pull from the hip. They always take a long, long time to make a decision, and I don't know why that their thought process is as long as what it is. But I got to give credit to Kevin. They came up with something pretty damn quick this week. Because like he said, cars are burning up. The other issue that was brought up this week with this new car is they're all saying that when they hit the wall, whether they hit it
harder.
It's harder.
Yeah.
They're really irritated about that, which, it's like Kurt Busch with his concussion.
It wasn't. It didn't look like a hard hit, but apparently it was.
And I saw somewhere where he said that if this was in the old car, he says I wouldn't be sitting on the sidelines right now.
Yep.
He said it's a complete manifestation of this car. Now, what they exactly mean by the hits are harder or they feel harder, I don't know if it's the rigidness and stiffness of the car. I don't know if it has something to do with the drivetrain. I don't understand it. But that's another issue that came out this week. And of course, Kevin Harvick is the one that brought it out. Now you got all these other guys jumping in saying, yeah, the hits are a lot tougher now.
Well, Denny Hamlin didn't race the Xfinity race because he was still sore from his wreck at Daytona.
Yeah. And all he took was a header. I mean, it's not like he bounced like a ping pong ball off everything.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you out there that haven't listened to our earlier podcast, I never have and I never will be a fan of this car. I don't like it. I don't like the cost of it. It does look a lot more stock than what we have had in the previous couple of years.
There's nothing stock about it. It's just a shell.
It's a component with the shell on it, whether it's got a Toyota, a bow tie, or a blue oval.
They're all the same car, and that's what's not right about NASCAR. Is Toyota used to be a Toyota, a Chevy used to be a Chevy, a Ford was a Ford, but now they're all literally the same besides the motor. Literally, all of them are the same. So it just, I don't know. It's a problem.
To me, it's like NASCAR got tired of working hard, and so, they don't have to work as hard.
Well, they wanted to even the playing field for the, Hendricks compared to the Spire Motorsports. They're trying to even, which they have. It's just too similar.
So what? Work harder, get better sponsors, get more money, or get out. It's. I think it was Cale Yarbrough used to say, if you want to make $1 million in NASCAR, you damn well better start out with 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of this even playing field, everybody gets a trophy BS. If you can go out there and race with the big boys and give it your best shot. I come from the days of the 3 mile fuel line. All this other stuff. Is it cheating? Sure. Not unless you get caught, though.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, let me say what NASCAR said for the rule change. They thing here.
NASCAR makes rule changes for Kansas to address fire issues from Darlington. By staff report, September 7th, 2020.
That's it says the use of intumescent coating is now permitted for the underside of the car's lower crush panels, inside the exhaust cover panels, and the upper surface of the rocker box. It is also permitted to apply coating to the right side stop panel. The intumescent coatings will help provide fire protection to steel components, and the changes come after exhaust issues to Kevin Harvick. Other changes for Kansas included mandating a lateral seal / dam to be installed between the back of the front clip weight box and the top of the splitter panel to reduce the migration tire debris from the splitter area. And there will also be instructions on trimming of the backstop panel included in the rule changes.
It's another area where they can give them an L2 penalty.
Yeah, it is also recommended that the exhaust insulation clearance between the exhaust and the floor of the rocker box be maximized. And didn't they was told not to mess with the rocker box panel, and now they're saying maximize the distance?
Yeah, a couple of guys got in trouble for that earlier. The GMS petty GMS guys.
So
I'm sick and tired of them micromanaging these guys as far as the car. Get your manufacturer to put their best shit on the track. Get the claw back out. Make sure it fits the templates. If somebody gets an advantage, finds an advantage, then the other guys need to work harder to catch up. I mean, we've watched it through the years. Chevrolet would get an advantage. Ford would cry like a stuck little pig. Then Ford would get the advantage. And we had Toyota get the advantage. For a while there, Ray Evernham and the Dodges, they had some advantages. It's racing. Racing, by definition, is bring your best shit to the table and beat the hell out of everybody else and let them figure out how to catch up with you.
Mm-hmm.
If the product you're bringing isn't beating everybody, then you need to do something about that. Like I said, I'm so sick and tired of NASCAR in this even playing field, and everybody's got to have the same. No, this isn't Little League football anymore. This is big boy stuff. Get your pants on and let's go. And if you aren't smart enough, and I don't want to say it exactly that way, if you don't have the funding, or the heart to make it work. I mean, look at guys in the past like Alan Kowicki. One-man team, crew chief, the whole 9 yards. There's others. Harry Gant, Daryl Waltrip. They funded themselves. They didn't, they had sponsors, don't get me wrong on that end of things. But damn it, they didn't have the equipment that Hendrick or back in the day Yates but they competed because they had the heart to do it and they found a way to get it done. And now it's like all you got to do is bring a piece, get it through inspection, and whether you're, like you said, Spire or GMS or anybody, you're as on equal playing field with Hendricks. Why?
They want that. They want.
So
they're trying to bring in more fucking people.
It's not it's not working.
I'm talking like owners, not viewers, owners.
Okay. Well, dude at Trackhouse figured out that you got enough money, but anyway, and you talk about the viewing is going down by the race.
They had to go against college football this weekend, so I expected it to be lower.
Spring race, 2.6 million. This race, 2.3, off 300,000. I know Daytona was up, but that was the end of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
NASCAR better be careful, because I can go back to what we did at the beginning of the year. I promise you, when we go back to the Coliseum in Los Angeles and try and race on a football field, the numbers will not be the same as they were this year. You will not have the attendance that you had this year.
I don't know. Darlington sold out. They were touting about it sold out. It might sell out.
The race sold out. And believe me, if I could have gotten out of here for a couple of days, I'd have been one of them. But my point is, I still keep hearing about, oh yeah, the Coliseum and all this other crap. The newness of this new car has wore off. And I think there's a lot more people like me than like NASCAR that are jazzed not about this car. It's not a fucking Indy car. I want 5 lug nuts instead of 1. I want that underside exposed. Clearly all that crap ain't working as far as trying to keep a car on the ground.
Nope.
It's not working. Now, granted, we haven't had one go over, and I don't know, is Harrison Burton the only one that's gone over?
Mm-hmm.
But we've had a lot of cars in the air. A lot of cars in the air. So anyway, I can't be proven right until I'm proven right, so I'll quit bitching about that. To kind of wrap up Darlington, for the winner, I picked Harvick. That didn't work out too good. You picked Larson. He was 12th. Dark Horse, I picked Keselowski in 7th. You took Truex in 32nd.
He was going to win if he didn't have his belt fly off.
Bubba in the top 20th, we both said no. He was 9th. And we both said yes on Denny, and he was 2nd. So that was kind of a push for both of us. We were equal on that one. And on the fantasy league, you got me again by 12 points.
If it wasn't for you had 200, and I was watching, you had 250 plus points until Kyle and Kyle, went out. I was at I was at 230. And then, like I said, it was Kyle Larson. I'm like, you know what? He might have fire under his ass. He might come back from this, and I swapped it when I shouldn't have. But I was right there with you in points until you had both of them go out.
Well, I took Harvick out and put Kyle Busch in, because Denny and Martin are really good at this track. And like you said, if Martin and Kyle, I mean, it was a really cool move until Harvick decided to roast hot dogs out there. Because I had Blaney in 13, Logano in 4th, Hamlin in 2nd, and I had Truex and Kyle Busch until about 30 laps to go. That was really, really cool. It was working out well.
Yeah, you had 250 plus points, so till it happened. And like I said, I'm happy with the 190, but it's not 200 like I want.
Well, that's my goal every week is 200. And I was within 20, 30 laps of getting that job done and then some, but it is what it is. One little news tidbit, because there wasn't a whole lot. We can go back into the Kyle Busch thing again. I want to actually leave that alone for a week.
Yeah, there was one thing I seen this week, and it was a question: could Richard Childress add a third charger for Kyle Busch? Yeah, if he wanted to, but that was really.
I saw that. I want to say the one thing, and then we'll leave it alone. Is the more that this goes on, the more I'm leaning towards him actually going to Childress, and I can't believe I'm saying
Yeah.
this,
Mm-hmm.
but that's where I'm thinking because I think Childress would actually get behind him in his truck company too. So, all right, on the Childress thing, Austin Dillon's looking for a new crew chief. Justin Alexander announced that he is not returning. Now, and again, I'm not at all surprised about this, and they say that he's gonna stay within the Childress organization. He just wants a position where he doesn't have to travel track to track. But why do you do this the week of Austin Dillon making the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
And Austin tried to calm it down by saying, "Yeah, we've been having these discussions for quite a while now." But still, just like I still feel that and now believe me, Kyle Busch is going to be in my next round of cuts on the championship. I believe that's it. He's done. But your guy got in. We all know he's probably not going to last more than 3 races, and he's out. Make the announcement then, not now. I mean, that's demoralizing to the team. It really is.
Like I said, they should definitely wait till he's out, but they might not want to. But I feel they should. The smart move would be wait until he's out so he can concentrate and everybody can concentrate on the playoffs.
Exactly. It's a distraction. It's a complete distraction. But unless you got anything else, I mean, there wasn't really anything controversial that went on at Darlington, in my opinion.
Well, apparently Suarez is going to get Bell back for whatever he did.
Oh, whatever. Go ahead, Daniel. Watch yourself get face planted.
He says, I'm going to get him back, apparently. Nice.
Go ahead. Number 1, you're not Denny Hamlin or Dale Earnhardt. Number 2, it was an accident, and I'm not even sure what he's talking about.
That's what I'm saying. I was trying to figure out what exactly happened. He probably raced him hard, maybe rattled his cage or something. I don't know. But yeah, apparently Suarez is not too happy. And I think Bell's the type of person is push my button, see what happens type of person. You know, I'll sit back and wait and then, you know, poke the tiger.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey.
I think that was the only other thing is Suarez is mad.
Looking through, I honestly don't see NASCAR's continuing to investigate cars catching fire.
Yeah, like I said, I'm literally looking right now, and there's literally nothing. The major thing is the rule change, and there's some Kyle Busch stuff, and there's Danica Patrick that I'm not even going to talk about.
Yeah, no. NASCAR is going back to Nashville for championship week as far as the awards presentation, which I think is cool. Centrally located. And Toyota is going to examine Darlington engine failures. Well, something broke.
Well, the belt broke, so that's not really an engine failure. And with Kyle Busch, apparently that was a misshift, but I can't. There's really nothing. The major story was the Kevin Harvick thing, calling out NASCAR, and he's completely right. And I feel he shouldn't get in trouble, but he probably will because you can't. God forbid you talk negative about NASCAR. But he's the type of person just does not give a shit. And when it comes to safety, you know.
What are you gonna do? Make him retire?
Yeah.
I mean,
if you don't know Kevin Harvick, once he has something set on his mind, either it be good or bad, fight, smile, he's gonna do it. And he believes wholeheartedly this car is a piece of shit. And the shitty parts, and no one knows how to run it. And so he's going to say it.
And I guarantee you, him and Tony got drunk that night over that one.
I did like Eric Jones when he won. He on his cool down lap, he's like, "We're going drinking tonight." So I like that.
I'm getting a hat and we're going drinking.
Yeah, get some beers. So it was cool. Like I said, I like Eric Jones. He's a Michigan guy, right? Yeah, it's Michigan. So it's third win and good for Petty GMS getting their win, and it just shows that I think next year with Noah Gregson joining, I think that team is going to be not a top.
By the way, shout out to him on the Xfinity race and that wild finish.
Kyle Larson.
Did you notice that Kyle Larson got out and who was he?
Sheldon Creed.
Yeah. And they shook hands.
Yeah,
and
didn't fight. Nobody was mad. They said it was racing. It was great racing, fun racing.
Oh, it was an awesome finish.
Yep.
It was and it didn't happen until halfway through the last lap.
Yep. And the only thing I think I texted you, and the only thing I was worried about was Noah when his interview was, and he literally just went blank. And I don't know if
he was hot. He was overheated.
He was hot and overheated, and he literally was just, he couldn't, he was just, it was weird to watch, and then they finally went back to
Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was concerning because I knew he was hot. I didn't want to have a heat stroke on TV. And it just came out that from him climbing the fence and getting out of the car, it was hot, and then apparently the tire smoke is what he said got him. He just needed to sit down for 5 minutes, cool off, and he was good, and he was back to his normal self.
Well, that was a great burnout that he did.
So, I love the fence climb, and it's kind of a, tribute to Stewart. But him going to the 42 with Eric Jones and what they're doing, I think that's going to be multiple wins next season when they get in there. I don't know between the two, but it'll be more than just running up front, being mid-pack. I think they're going to get wins, and finally Noah's going to have backing.
Well, Eric Jones hasn't been a slouch this year.
No, he's been up top, but like when you think of Petty GMS and where they've been all year, you think mid-pack.
I can remember 10, 12 years ago, when it was just Richard Petty Motorsports, they were on their way out to, I believe it was either Texas or Talladega. Texas Motor Speedway or Talladega. They literally had to stop at a truck stop or a rest stop on the highway because their credit cards were getting declined for gasoline to get to the track. And they sat there for a day or so, and somehow Richard got on the cash to get him to the track. So from what Richard Petty was back in the day to where he's been struggling wise, trying to keep his company going to where he's at now. And then you factor in, last year he lost his wife, Linda. And he sojourned through that, and I'm with you. I expect some pretty cool things next year with Noah and Eric at Petty GMS, and now that they've got solid funding, I mean, look at the difference. And I'm sorry, I don't know Ty Dillon that well. I know he raced trucks. I know he raced Xfinity. He was never anybody that I followed or paid attention to like I do his brother Ty. Because I think Ty next year is going to be a rookie of the year in the Cup Series. I still believe he's going to be the one driving the 18 car. I like Ty Gibbs. And I said earlier this year, and nobody knew Noah Gregson at that time was coming up. It must have been when Kurt Busch went out and Ty started racing that 45. I said my new two favorites for next year, as far as rookies or guys to watch, are going to be Noah and Ty.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was pretty sure at that point that Ty was going to come up because of the Kyle Busch situation. But when Petty GMS announced they signed Noah, I was like, damn.
I wonder how long it is, because I think Junior's gonna want to pick Noah back up when he goes to the Cup, but I don't know. I think Noah's taking a ride just to get a ride, but I also think he's gonna perform in that ride until Junior comes back up, and then Noah will jump ship whenever that is, if that's 2024 or whatnot.
Depends on how he's performing at Petty GMS, because we all know, or we've talked about, Junior looking at buying out Childress Racing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that the off season, we're gonna have enough to be doing a show every week in the off season, because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of things that's a brewing. A lot of changes that could happen. Junior's not totally dismissing coming to Cup now, where before he's like, "Oh, we're not ready," blah blah this. Well, it's like one of those "we'll see" attitudes. Teresa Earnhardt Miller, I've heard her in a couple of interviews where she's not flat denying it anymore. So,
Well,
it'll be
it's and another thing too, kind of like stay on the subject of Junior, is last week they raced at North Wilkesboro in their cars, and he finished third. Yep. And Carson Quapple is one of Junior's not undiscovered talents, but talents he's grooming, won the race. And it was so cool to watch the videos. And I haven't watched the YouTube series. It's called like The Revival. It has like it's kind of like a docu-series on what happened behind the scenes leading up to North Wilkesboro race. And just watching Junior after the race, he was like a kid in a candy store, and he was so excited for that racetrack to be on, people racing it. So I'm hoping, because I know they're tearing up the asphalt here soon. They're going to do the dirt, and they're going to repave it. I'm hoping they can update the facilities, and NASCAR at some point go back to that track.
I think it's a matter of time. Again, living in the area.
And they're selling out, and it's not even NASCAR. They're selling out. You know what I'm saying?
It's a big thing. The state has put a lot of money into that place. The local authorities have put a lot of money into that place. The media is massive. It is massive. And I'm clear over here on the coast. North Wilkesboro is a good 4 hours. Local TV here is running it. And I still say that once they get North Wilkesboro up to snuff, the state is going to move on to Rockingham and want to get Rockingham going again.
Well, they see the success over.
I've never been to North Wilkesboro. I have been on site, on premises at Rockingham. After it was done, granted, it was it's easily able to be put back together. I mean, if they can take and put a track down in a fucking football field in California, they can fix Rockingham. All right. We'll see. And I know it's going to be years down the road because NASCAR doesn't do anything quickly. But I do believe there's going to be a point in time where North Wilkesboro and Rockingham at some point are going to be back on the Cup, not just truck. They're going to take the trucks or ARCA there the first couple of years, then they're going to move the trucks in, then they'll try Xfinity. So I'm talking 10, 15 years down the road before Cup will be back. But I predict that at some point in time, the Cup Series will be back at North Wilkes-Barre and Wilkesboro, not Barry, Borough, and Rockingham.
It'll be before that.
Hell, that rock is still out front with everybody's name engraved on it. It's still there. They haven't moved it, taken it away. It's still there. So, I don't know. I really don't have I know we're going a little short this time. I really don't have anything else other than name our winners, dark horse, whether Bubba and Denny each finish in the top 20 or not.
Yeah, I think they hate to say.
All right. I do too.
Hate to say.
Who's your winner?
You know what? I went back and looked at the previous race winner, Kurt Busch. Now, I'm so mad that he can't race it now.
I'll tell you who has the best average finish over the last 10 races, if that'll help you.
I haven't even.
And that's
looked.
Martin Truex Jr.
He's got.
6.4 average finish.
I just don't like Kansas as a racetrack, but
I don't either.
It was good.
Denny Hamlin has the most wins with 2. Truex also has the most top 10s with 9.
Let me look.
Kurt Busch has a win, 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s. Oh, that's right. He's not going to be there.
If I remember correctly, I did look earlier today. Toyota dominated it earlier. Only Larson finished second. It was mainly Toyotas. Ford sucked. Mainly Chevy and. But you know what? I'm gonna say Rossi boss. Ross Chastain the win. I don't know why he just sticks out. Dark horse, on the other hand, we said what? Not in the chase. We said right.
That's it. Yeah, not in the chase. Anybody not in the chase is a dark horse now.
Oh man. Wow. I'll say Chris Buescher.
Okay.
Even though I just said Ford bad earlier, anything this time.
Well, for dark horse, I'll take his teammate, Keselowski.
If it wasn't for his little snafu earlier this year, put himself in the hole, I think he'd be a lot better. I think he's finally starting to get a hang of being owner driver. I think he'll be a lot better next year that he's acclimated to that. He's performing now in the last 3, 4, 5 races. But I think he had way too much on his plate, and I think he finally figured out how to properly manage all that. So, yeah, I can see him being back into contending, but for how long is he, going to do that?
And my winner, because this is one pissed off dude, Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I do. He might come out and you see. Yeah,
He is pissed, and Kevin Harvick, kind of like his protege Earnhardt, and it's kind of like TRD saying they don't want to race against a pissed off Kyle Busch. The field doesn't want to race against a pissed off Kevin Harvick, and the boy is pissed. And I think the slap down he's getting behind the scenes is going to piss him off even more. You watch him on camera this week. He's going to be a nice guy. He's going to have nothing but compliments for NASCAR for putting in that steel plate and addressing the issue and having discussions with him personally. He's going to be kissing some royal NASCAR ass. You watch. Anytime they talk to him on camera this week, they got a hold of him and had a getting his mind right session. I can almost guarantee it.
Have we? Now that I'm thinking about it, have we heard about Kyle Busch possibly coming back at all this year? There hasn't been an update about him this week. Yeah. I haven't heard anything.
No, I haven't either since last week when he made the announcement that he wasn't going to be participating for a little while anyway. And at this point, why? I mean, there's no reason. I mean, you got Kansas, which you can take another hard hit at. Bristol, not so much. And then you go into what? Talladega. God, I don't even have it up in front of me, but you got some. Vegas is in there. 2022 schedule.
It'd just be nice to see him back in the car. I think the fans would be.
Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Kansas and then Bristol, Texas, Talladega, and Charlotte. All three of those tracks, you can get your bell rung. Bristol's probably the most docile track of the bunch, although it is going to be a wreck fest because it's the last race before the cutoff.
I see everybody getting payback at that race. Oh, it's Bristol. If not, if anything, it'll cause more. I'm gonna get him back type situation. I expect it to be hot. Last year it was pretty hot with Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott, if I can remember.
Expect payback week. And if you're talking about the Hamlin-Chastain thing, if Chastain...
I'm talking everything. Logano and Byron, Suarez and Bell, and then now Hamlin and Ross.
I expect that to wait until Martinsville, the last cutoff race.
Bristol is one of the easiest tracks to do it because you don't have to wait 2 miles to get around. And like I said, you can get to them quick.
If Denny has half a brain in his head, he would wait until the last possible track to where he could do it without looking like an ass. And that's Martinsville. Because if Chastain's if he's been cut out by the time they get into that last round, then there's no reason for him to go out and make more enemies and more fans get mad at him. In my book, there's no reason to do it at Bristol. Because number one, all right, so what if Denny says, okay, fine, now is my time to get Chastain. He takes him out. It's a cutoff race. If Chastain doesn't win Kansas, it's a must-win race for him, or point in. So Denny takes him out then. Guess what? Now Chastain's got a reason to go after Hamlin. So my point is, if I'm Hamlin and I feels like I still owe Chastain something, I'm not going to do it till the last I'm not going to do it early on and give him the opportunity to retaliate before we get to Phoenix. I'm going to do it the last possible opportunity before we go to Phoenix so he doesn't have a chance to retaliate with me until we get to Phoenix. And then if Chastain retaliates with him, then he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
At Phoenix, taking out a championship contender. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. I don't even have in my little mock draft. I don't even have Hamlin getting to the top 4. So
well,
it's a little spoiler. I don't have him going to the top 4.
I wasn't able to do it on the. We're gonna have to see because I think I've already screwed up these brackets, but at least doing what we're doing, we get a reset every round cut off. With this NASCAR.com brackets, you don't get a reset. I mean, what are you gonna do if you don't? What do you put in the round of 8 if you don't have 8 to deal with?
Well, from the NASCAR bracket, for what I understood, they just want you to see what your picks for the first 4 out. When and
then they reset it all for the
top
round
of the 12. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, playoff grid challenge. Yeah, that's what because I did that. And yeah, it's pretty much.
Then they reset the round of 12,
and then you pick 4 more. Yeah.
All right. Well, I still got a shot at it, but it's not looking too good with what Harvick did.
Yeah. So
But I just honestly, I don't see anybody, in my opinion, unless it's going for a win on the last 10 laps at Bristol, I don't see anybody doing anything retaliatory there. Maybe at the Roval, if it means you got to win to get in and to get to the round of 8, maybe. Talladega is going to be a great equalizer. That's gonna be something. But as far as actual intentional retaliation, I think Martinsville where that's going to happen. I really do. That's where I think it's going to happen. It's the least amount of carnage. And especially if say Bell and Chastain and Byron are all still in the contest to go, Logano, Hamlin.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna get interesting when we get further deep in.
But again, and I'm not even sure that that's going to be an issue. But if it becomes an issue, I think it's going to be at Martinsville, not Bristol. Might see a little bit of it at the Roval. It's all going to depend on if somebody's right outside the bubble, needs a win to get into the next round. I don't know. I'm not looking for it. The Roval, of all these races that are coming up, the Roval is Kansas is a close second.
Roval's usually pretty good, actually. You are not happy about the Indy Road course. Roval's pretty good, actually, because they have the first dog leg left, kind of like how Indy had the dog leg right at the first turn. This one has a dog leg left. Usually people have that big pile up.
You know what I learned? And I meant to mention this last week, because you and I kind of gave Chase some shit about picking the outside versus the inside. I did not realize
at Watkins
Watkins Glen, at road courses and Talladega and Daytona, we don't have the choose line.
No,
no, it's not there. I never realized. I don't know why.
The choose arrow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But the leader still has. But the leader can still choose where they're at.
No.
Yeah.
They said no. They said no. It's NASCAR tells you where to line up at the road courses. In other words, if you're first, you're on the left front. Second's on the.
I don't think so. I can see where you're maybe confusing. I could be wrong too, but I understood it as the leader can pick inside or out. Now, they don't have the choose arrow, where you could choose anybody behind them could choose with inside or outside. They don't have that on the super speedways or road courses. But I think the leader can choose inside or out. But I could be wrong too. That's what I thought.
Okay, well, we're getting ready to wrap this up, so we got some homework. But I did not realize that at road courses and the super speedways that you don't have the choose rule.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Because I can, like I said, we'll have to look it up and talk about it again next week. But if that's the case, then I don't blame Chase. Because I was like, you know what, Chase, it's your own damn freaking fault. You knew you were going to take a right-hand turn going into turn 1 at Watkins Glen. Why in the would you go to the outside?
Yeah, this one's got it's on the left side.
Yeah, whether it's a teammate or not, why would you put yourself in that position? Now I find out he may not have had a choice.
Yeah, no, I think the leader has a choice, but everybody else behind them doesn't. They don't have that choose arrow. But I could be wrong too, but that's why I thought, but we'll find out if we look it up. But no, Roval has every year that first turn left always causes problems. Chase Elliott actually missed it, went straight and went into the barriers, but still won the race. And it was pretty cool burnout because he went right to that spot after he won the race, after he hit the wall or tires, put his car there, did a burnout, and stood on the car as it was leaving the burnout. That was pretty cool.
I'm telling you. Yeah, it was cool. Hang on a minute. We're not going to wait till next week. I'm going to see what I can find out right now. All right. See if I can find. If I can't find it in a very quick minute, then NASCAR restart positions will be in effect at all events. Oh, what are you doing? except super speedways and road course events. Prior to restarts, when the single file restart order is confirmed and when instructed as race control, drivers must choose. All right, we know that. It doesn't say. It says except at super speedways and road course events. All right. Let me do a real quick. Copy, paste, search.
It says this is the choose rule for the arrow. It says it's used on all tracks excluding Daytona, Talladega, and road courses. It also also used at many short and dirt tracks outside of NASCAR. Now, NASCAR leader. Let's see this. Leader choose.
I can't find. I said if I didn't find it real quick. So we know that it's a rule that it's not at. But if it's not the choose rule, then why would it only be for the leader?
The choose rule is they have a orange arrow in the track, and anybody can choose where they want to go, left or right. Either if they lose position or not, they might prefer the inside when the restarts, or they might prefer outside. You can choose wherever you want to go. Now, I think the leader can choose no matter what, inside or out. I'm trying to find that.
It used to be that way. No one else had a choice. It was only the leader at any track had the choice.
Yeah, and then last year they started testing out this choose rule arrow that you have to choose. You don't have to start fourth if you don't want to be outside. You can choose. Now I'm trying to figure. I'm pretty sure the leader can choose where they want to start, inside or out. Other than that, you can't. Okay, the choose rule was implemented in NASCAR prior to the 2020 race. At Michigan, the rule is in effect on all three national series and except road courses and super speed. It is not used on courses, typically because the one lap to go until they have to pass finish line to use their super speeds to prevent teammates and manufacturers to work more closely together than normal would. Choose restart positions will be in fact except road courses and super speedways prior to the start when the starts confirm. Race drivers must choose the designated V shape painted on the track. I'm trying to find where the race leader is control the race restart. I'm trying to find the exact rule where the leader can choose.
Well, like I said, let's mark this down so we can end this, and we'll. Because it's got to be, the way I heard it was that the choose rule is in effect for all drivers except for the road courses, the Roval, and the super speedway. And at Talladega and Daytona. Other than that, it's not in effect. You line up where NASCAR tells you, and the leader always is on the left, regardless of the track. So I don't want to waste any more dead air.
Yeah, no, I literally have to probably get the damn rule book, but I'm pretty sure the leader can choose inside or outside regardless.
Again, I'm not saying you're wrong, because I know that's the way it used to be at every course up until they came up with this choose rule thing, where the leader could pick inside or outside, regardless of the track, whether it was a a 3/4, a mile and a half, a 2, whatever it was, it didn't matter. They could pick which side, and everybody else had to fall in. Third had to go into the left lane. Fifth had to go into the left lane. You know what I'm saying? The odds were on the inside, the evens were on the outside. The only one that had the choice was the leader. And then the second place car had to go to the inside or the outside of him. But the way I understood it and heard it this week or last week, which blew me away, is that they don't have that choice. And the road courses and the super speedways. So anyway, everybody, join us on our NASCAR Fantasy League. Go to NASCAR.com, click on Fantasy Live, search for Burn It Down NASCAR Podcast League. Get you an account. It's free. Ain't gonna win anything, but it's fun to compete.
It keeps you involved in the race.
Yes, absolutely. And Brian, tell them where else they can get this if they're on the move.
Yeah, if you guys are listening or want to listen on the go, just search for Burn It Down NASCAR Podcast on Google. But if you want to specifically watch on any website or app, it's rss.com, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, pretty much any audio pad podcast platform. Just search Burn It Down NASCAR Podcast and we will pop up.
And if you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on Roku.
Yeah, the Roku app
It's there too. So, all right, everybody. Have a great week. I hope I'm really excited when we get done with Kansas. Don't count on it. I don't like this track, but it is what it is. Unless you got anything else, I'm going to sign off. Tell everybody have a great week, and we will see you back here or talk to you next week.
Yep.